Hey everybody, so this next lesson we're going to take a look at is how to coach a direct attack. So direct attack means an attack with, in this case, a broadsword, where we don't disengage. So we just go straight forward with the attack. And typically how people train HEMA, at least nowadays in 2023 at the time of this recording, it's really common for people to learn all the basic cuts with a disengage. So a lot of times you'll start in an outside guard, disengage, cut 1 from there, right? And so a lot of times people learn this like wind up that they're doing with the cut all the time that becomes really intuitive. But there's also a ton of moments like, when you slip the leg or when somebody goes on lazy to their guard, that you really need to develop that skill of just shooting it straight forward. So that's more important, I think, at the beginning than learning disengage cuts with opposition, is just learning how to shoot it straight forward. So you shave off all the extra time onto that a lot of people will put into tilting the sword back and disengaging, which it's useful for getting power, and especially when you need to move around their sword. But if you don't need to, just shoot straight through the middle. Okay, so let's take a look here. So myself, I'm in the black and gray jacket with the gold hilted sword. And one thing that I did there to open up was we started at a close distance. So with beginner students here, you do not want to make them need to step. All we're doing for this first part is making them practice the extension of the arm. So Cody here is in a decent stance. He's got his legs bent. He's in a proper guard position. And I'm going to just tilt my sword. And all I'm going to do is just turn my wrist and fingers slightly. I don't want to make a big motion with my elbow as the coach to give it away. All I have to do is push my point a little bit past my student's face here to the outside of like kind of the box, the lines of their body, so that it's no longer a threat. So the student is learning to pick up on this cue when my sword isn't facing them. That's a good time for them to hit direct, and they don't necessarily need opposition to do so. So I'm just making a small motion here with my wrist, pushing it to the outside. And then Cody's making a direct cut 7 to the head without a wind up. So the next step here is I take a little step back as the coach. Cody, you can see he starts the attack slowly with the arm and then squeezes the finger. And what he's doing better this time, during this lesson, is he's landing the cut to my head at exactly the same time as his foot is landing. And that's really important. Good. So I take a little step farther back. Oh, he makes an error. He didn't really need to do an advanced lunge there. There, he can easily hit me with a lunge. For getting people to cut, we usually want them cutting with the last couple inches of the blade, just so they maximize their reach. It's true that the most powerful point of percussion is with kind of a little bit farther down, but we're going to go for reach over maximum cutting power. Okay, so here's one that I did. As he started moving towards me, I gave him the cue, and then I took a retreat step. So what that does is it opens it up into advanced lunge range. That one wasn't so great. His foot kind of landed before. And so that's really the lesson. The things to kind of take away from this, it's really brief, is you just move your sword a little bit out of the way. And we're just doing that on an outside guard. You could just as easily do it from any guard, inside guard, whatever you want to use at the time. It's a small motion of the point so that the student gets used to those moments where it's safe to just cut straight in and they don't add on any unnecessary movement. It's just really the squeeze, extension of the arm, squeeze of the fingers. If during that time I start to move back, you follow me with a lunge. Start it off at close distance for beginner students. Then as they get to an intermediate phase, start adding in a little bit longer lunges, advanced lunges. And on the advanced phase, you're going to kind of move them around and they'll be able to creatively pick whatever distance you're at the time. Thanks for watching, guys.